It's 4 o'clock on a Monday, and you know what that means, don't you? It's time for another exciting episode of TAXITV Live. Yeah, baby, here we are. It's Monday. We're ready to roll on a brand new show. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. I'm surprised, let's see, chat room, there it is. I'm surprised anybody's in the chat room today. I thought, isn't there like a World Series game on that's starting right now or something? Anyway, welcome to today's show. We are going to do 7 things you'll miss if you don't go to Taxi's free conference, the Road Rally. I gotta say, like every year, everybody says, what's your favorite part of the Road Rally? My favorite part is when we say, see you next year, and get out of there. Honestly, I have a great time at the Road Rally. For me personally, it's not that much work. I think the staff probably has to work harder when we get there. I like doing the ballroom. It's all the preparation for the ballroom and everything else that goes into making a great rally. Bruce Capaferri says, we like watching you more than the World Series, which means you're not a baseball fan. Anyway, the run up to the rally, the last 30 days is brutal. The 90 days or so leading up to it is always bad. But I've got to tell you, this year, I am feeling really, 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 really good about this road rally. If you haven't registered yet, please do so. Liz will pop a link into where you can go and register. I want to give you guys, 7 reasons. And of course, I came up with more than 7. And ChatGPT came up with a few, but some of them that ChatGPT came up with were just plain funny. One of them actually sounded a little obscene. Okay, so yes, this is, I see people, somebody says, Glenn Ruger needs a rally haircut. I just got one, a little short, but whatever. Hello to everybody in the chat room. So the number one reason to go to the road rally, and I think for some people this is what they long for other people it's what they have the fear of God of. Okay, enough of the baseball talk. It distracts me. Networking with industry professionals. Look, people always say, they say it a lot. It's not like 3 people have said this. It's more like hundreds of people have said this over the years, which is 50% of the benefit of belonging to Taxi is going to the road rally for the networking. I would say that 50% of the deals that our members make result from the road rally. They happen in a couple of ways. Sometimes they happen because you go to the bar, walk up there to grab another beer, whatever, and you happen to see a music library owner that was on a panel an hour ago. Go, hey, how you doing, man? That was a great panel. Can I ask you a question? You know, my standard thing is, how did you get into the industry? Because everybody loves to tell their life story, myself included. And when they're done telling you all about them, most of the time people say, what about you? And that's when you don't say, I do country, I do rock, I do pop, I do hip hop, I do blues, I do R&B, I do prog rock. You don't rattle off a list of 57 genres because you think they're going to go, oh, wow, you're really impressive. I must sign you to my library. The best thing you can say, if you have any placements under your belt already, give them 1 or 2 genres. I do pop instrumentals, and I do a lot of dramedy cues and hip-hop dramedy cues, to be specific. And I've had 30 placements on all kinds of shows, ranging from reality to, full-hour dramas, whatever. Just what I said, without the stumble or two, would be enough for them to say, oh, really? I'd be interested in hearing your stuff. How can I hear it? And that's when you give them a business card with your QR code on it, or you could have the QR code on your phone and, yikes, what did I just do? And hold up your phone and let them zap the QR code from your thing. That's how it's done. Another great thing about networking, not just with industry professionals at the Road Rally, but like going to the Mentor Lunch. People don't realize that they should call it the Mentor Feast, because yes, about half the value is meeting the mentors and learning from them, asking them. Basically, it's a free-for-all. Ask them any question. But the thing is that you get to know the other 9 people at your table. And so many people have told me that they've met collaborators at those tables, at the luncheons. And a lot of times you can ride in on the coattails of your collaborator. Let's say you have no music library deals whatsoever. You've never had a placement, but you happen to be really, really good at doing tracks. You're a great engineer producer. You're just not so great at melody and lyric. And you meet somebody else at your table or anywhere at the rally, but the luncheon kind of forces you in a comfortable way to meet people. You meet somebody who's a great top liner, and they say, oh, you're good at doing tracks because I'm not, and you end up working together. Well, maybe they have already gotten some of their stuff by collaborating, with a Greg Carrozza or John Pearson or somebody. I'm only saying that because I see you guys in the room. Yo, boys. Anyway, and then you ride in on the coattails of their deal or their relationships. It's not a smarmy way to do it. There is a smarmy way to do that, which I wish people didn't do. People come to the Road Rally just literally trolling around or casting about, as we fishermen like to say, looking for people whose coattails they can ride in on. But, if that's your, like, raison d'etre, that'd be a great name for a new cereal rather than Raisin Bran. Raison d'etre. Goofy today. Anyway, if you come with that in mind, people can feel it. They can sense it. And it's a little off-putting, to be honest with you, because usually the people that come with that in mind are like, hey, how you doing? You looking for a collaborator? Because I'd love to get a deal, If it happens organically, it's cool. And it does happen organically. If you haven't signed up for the Mentor Lunches yet, definitely do that. I forget, we're very close to the cutoff date for that, and we're about 65% full right now, so we've still got some seats left. I don't think I've ever had anybody regret that they went to the Mentor Lunch. The one thing I will tell you is it gets fairly loud in there because it's 300 people on Friday, 300 people on Saturday, everybody trying to talk over everybody. If you're planning that evening to get up and do a very delicate guitar vocal song, I would not try and shout over everybody in there. But people always tell us that the food that the Westin serves is really good. The camaraderie is excellent. And you know what? You're going to drop 60, 70% as much money on a regular lunch by going to the Thai place next door, going to the Daily Grill downstairs. So you might as well spend a little more and get the benefit of somewhere, I think around 7 mentors will hit your table during the course of the luncheon. Like I said, here's something I didn't mention is you are allowed to give your music to the mentors. We actually encourage it. The mentors expect it. I think it was Rob Shirelli ended up signing somebody to a record deal years ago because he met somebody at a mentor lunch, I think was the case. Anyway, where was I going with that? I can't even remember. Anyway, you might as well, spend the extra few bucks and have the ability to have 7 of those industry people at your table during the course of the lunch. So there you go. I also want to mention today, let's see, do I have a good button? Not really. We have crossed the 24,000 YouTube subscriber line. Now, we may not be influencers, but 24,000 ain't nothing, so yay us. Yep, couldn't have done it without you guys. 24,000 people that subscribe to this channel. And why aren't they all watching today's show? You gotta wonder. Okay, so that was the number one thing, is networking with industry professionals, obviously. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Networking with all your fellow members, and just building relationships. You guys in the chat room, tell them, those of you who've been to a road rally, was it far better than you expected, and did you get more out of it than you ever thought possible? Their words coming up, not mine. All right. The education is the second reason. So this is a printer version of it. Do I have one nearby? No, I do not. You know, the taxi. Hang on. I'll be right back. I've got one close at hand, I believe. I do. So this is actually on the presses today and becomes this for the road rally. This is last year's version, which I had to use a lot over the last few days. You guys, we wanted to do a digital version today. I was told by somebody who does nothing but conferences, said, you still use paper? You don't do a digital program book? And I said, I guess we could. I personally wouldn't like it. And I asked about it on TAXITV. You guys, I don't think one person said digital. And I got to tell you, these books, I think last year, I want to say either $5,700 or $6,700 to print them up. They cost a fortune. And we murdered a bunch of trees just for you guys, because that's how much we love you. But I've got to tell you, proofreading, 64 pages of that thing with all the mentor bios, class descriptions, the schedule grids. It's mind-blowingly hard work. And I think we had 5 different, 5 different iterations of it that got proofed. So it was absolutely murderous. You go through it. You have to literally go through line by line. Here, I'll pull out last year's. It'll be easier to show you. We got the nice hotel map, which is green, so it's clear on here. Oh, that's the other thing. The hotel the other day said, oh, by the way, because we've remodeled, we changed the names of all the meeting rooms and the ballrooms and everything. I'm like, you have to be effing kidding me. Because we had just gone through this thing, has all the room names in there. And so the hotel is putting up paper signs over the new room names. Rather, there was just no way that we could go through this thing again and change all the rooms out and get it right, especially with the amount of time we had. So the first pass of the book, which we get digitally in the form of a PDF, I think myself, Liz, Angel, and Ashmita, 4 of us proofed it. We handed it back to the guy. Then he sent us back the new version of it, the latest, version number 2. And on that one, Angel and I proofed it. And then he sent me the 3rd one on Friday evening, I believe. And so I stayed up till like midnight. I might need a cough drop. Doing that one. And then I did version number 4 on Saturday and version number 5 on Sunday evening. And I think I finished work last night around 9:30 or 10 p.m. on a Sunday just to get this friggin' book right. And I'm sure that there's still typos, but we had, wrong titles on panels and people with half their name cut off. I mean, if you're a real like grammar freak, you could probably find some commas that aren't in the right place or something like that. Anyway, it's done. There's no fixing it now. It's on the press, or got pressed today. Where do you get liquid cough drops? I don't know. It takes an angel to proofread it. Aw. What happens at the Westin stays at the Westin. Yeah. Stuart McClellan says Mentor Lunches were an incredible racket. I think he means racket, not like a racketeer, but like noisy, but still valuable. I met a couple mentors offline with specific questions. There you go. Okay. Hopefully that Red Bull swig will solve the cough problem. I have cough drops nearby. Anyway, so going through this thing, and in the course of proofing it, as a proofreader, you're reminded about the incredible quantity of stuff that goes on at the road rally. Let's see. I'm going to go through the ballroom really quick, just because I know I've done that on here before, and I'm sure every one of you sees every single episode, so you never miss anything, right? Welcome to the Road Rally, Michael Lloyd. The guy has made 100 gold and platinum records in his career, and he loves the Taxi Road Rally. So he always gets up and does like dad jokes at the beginning of the rally. He's my warm-up guy, but I love him to death. He's a very close friend. He and I, Rob Shirelli, before COVID, used to go out to dinner like 3-4 times a year. Not so much anymore. COVID just changed everything. Anyway, Michael Lloyd introduces me. I get up and do my thing. I'm debating whether or not to make a huge announcement at the beginning of the road rally, and I probably won't decide till I'm standing there on the stage. It's not about retirement, if that's what you're thinking. It's not. It's something that you guys will be extremely excited about that creates opportunities for you. Then we do the keynote panel. Will AI-generated music steal your job? With an all-star cast of experts on that. Followed by how music supervisors pick music for advertising. With Nick Hausling, a music supervisor. Followed by lunch break. Followed by Does Your Song Work in This Film? With music supervisor Mason Cooper, who's actually going to take a scene or two from an upcoming Sylvester Stallone movie that he's working on. And we ran a taxi listing, and he's going to, it went through the listing process. Music went to him. He's picked out some possibilities. He's going to play them live on stage, showing you the scene. And then you guys are going to probably voice your opinions, and he's going to ask you, why did you like it? Educational. Every time we've done anything like this, people always come up to me afterwards and say, I understand so much better now how to pitch my music. And that is because people are so stuck in this old school thinking that's been around the music industry forever, which is all I've got to do is write amazing music and be better than everybody else, and I'll get the gig. Not so much especially for sync. It's all about, does your music solve their problem by amplifying an emotion in the scene, or making the action more exciting, or setting a mood before there's any dialogue. All those components go into it. You will understand it so much more clearly. People say that just watching one of those sessions is like an entire career-changing moment for them. So I hope you make it in there for that one. Followed by the film and TV song pitch and feedback panel with Stephanie Reed, Mason Cooper, Dan Waldkirch, Jacob Nathan, and Jeff Freundlich, all great panelists. Followed by the next morning, Saturday morning, instrumental pitch and feedback panel with Steve Barden, Chuck Henry, Jeff Siegel, and Pedro Acosta. Those guys are all excellent on the instrumental panels. I'm sure they could do songs as well, but they're really good at instrumental. That's all. Followed by Robin Frederick, Turn Your Authentic Story into Hit Songs. Then a panel that we've never done before in the 28-year history of the Road Rally, inspired by Robina Ritchie Barker, a phone call, or actually a TAXITV I did with her, I think, letting go of precious. I called Rob Shirelli after Robina used that phrase. She said, sometimes you just got to let go of precious. And I'm like, wow, I've never heard anybody phrase it like that, but back when I still worked in the studio, ran into that hundreds of times where artists just couldn't get out of their own way because they would get so precious and hung up on something. Have to have it. It's got to be this way. Got to keep it in there. And they didn't realize that they were just blowing it by keeping that thing in there, whatever form this precious thing comes in. So I've got Rob Shirelli, Ron Harris, and Robina Ritchie Barker doing a conversation with me about letting go of precious, how precious can just screw up a song, a career, a pitch, a relationship, all kinds of things. Next one is How to Get Into Sync's Inner Circle with Jim Thacker, Patty Boss, Greg Carosa, Matt Vanderbo, and John Pearson. That'll be great. Those guys have all ascended to the inner circle. They are people who regularly get calls, emails, texts, whatever from people in the industry saying, hey, do you have any of this? Can you make me some? Greg Carosa, I know them. Yeah, sure you do, Carosa. Anyway, those guys will be excellent, I'm sure. And then that's followed by Before They Were Hits with Steve Block and Bobby Reimer. And even Block, who's amazing, says to me, I look like crap. When Bobby Reimer opens his mouth, he's amazing. So going to hang out with those guys, and they're going to play a bunch of demos that were the original demos of songs that became hits. We did it last year just for fun. People absolutely loved it. We only had like 300-400 people, maybe 500 people in the ballroom for it, because it was like time to go get your beer. But you can get a beer and come and hang out. It's very informal, but just so cool to hear those original demos. Followed by the next morning, Sunday, November 10th, Turn Your Old Recordings into Sync Income with Jeff Freundlich and Jacob Nathan. They are literally the world's leading experts on vintage music. That's great for sync. If you're over 45 years old, maybe even younger, if you have recordings that you did in the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, if you did stuff in the 40s and you've got it and you're still alive, join us in the ballroom, because there is a really good, solid market for that out there. And some people think that they can trick these guys by making music that sounds so authentically vintage, and it doesn't. They can spot it in a minute. You could use like the original Beatles instruments, the original control room at Abbey Road, all that same stuff, and somehow they can still pick what is authentically vintage and what is not. But I've got to tell you, if there's one single publisher in the history of Taxi's relationship with all the different companies we work with, which is probably, God, last time I looked, which was years ago, we were at thousands of companies that we've run listings for over the years. Literally, I think I want to say it was 2,000 or 3,000, and that was probably 2 or 3 years before COVID. So maybe even like 7, 8, 9 years ago, last time I checked. Out of all those companies, these guys are the most consistent to report placements to us, and never does a month go by when they don't. Followed after lunch that day by How to Write and Produce Instrumental Cues with Dean Crepane. He's going to build one right before your very eyes. And Dean is such a great presenter. He's so just a regular guy, not a music theorist at all. He doesn't have the latest string library. He doesn't have a fancy computer. And yet his stuff gets used like crazy. And you're going to watch him build a cue, and he's going to tell you how to do it and why his stuff gets used like crazy. Followed by this panel. Everybody should be in the room for this one unless you're already a rock star. rock star in the sync world. Interpreting Taxi's listings and industry briefs with Greg Carrozza, Bob Meddy, Stephanie Reed, Andrew Jordan, and Tom Stillwagon. That's going for people who go, I don't know, should I put more emphasis on what the description says or more emphasis on what the references sound like? You're going to find out. You're also going to find out like how the taxi listings compare to industry briefs. For those of you who are already working with libraries, you know, a lot of times you get briefs and says, I need something mellow and sad with acoustic guitars. Okay. Followed by the happy ending pitch panel, which is our way of listening to music and going out with a bang at the end. It's a goofy panel. Let's see who's on it this year. I think same people I had on it last year because it was such a great panel. Michael Lloyd, Rob Shirelli, Ron Harris, Pedro Costa, and Stephanie Reed. There you go. So there you go. That's all that's going on in the ballroom. Let's see. So I'm just going to rattle off some classes because I got to get back to my list of 7 things. Ben McLean, music attorney, doing music business in 10 easy lessons. The aforementioned Robina Ritchie Barker is going to do a class on mastering your metadata. This is a good one, making your string samples sound like the real thing with Hugo McLaughlin. Show me the money, unlocking your mechanical royalties with the MLC. Michael Ames, who's a dear friend of mine, Taxis in the show, is maybe the single smartest guy I've ever met from the publishing world. He's so smart and just a regular guy. I don't think he realizes how smart he is. He doesn't. He just doesn't realize it. Anyway, he has been telling me for years, people need to understand what the MLC is, Mechanical Licensing Collective, and understand that there is money sitting in their bank account to the tune of millions of dollars that's never been collected because people just don't take the time to sign up for this thing, and you should. So don't miss that. That is actually going on from 11:15 to 12:15 in the theater. Oh, by the way, we just found out because of the remodel the hotel is doing, the escalators are being completely replaced, not refurbished or gears getting oiled or anything. The escalators are getting torn out and replaced. So I met with the general manager of the hotel this past Friday, and he assures me that they will have hotel staff directing people to stairwells and that we can use service elevators. Because I said to him, that's a lot of people, and there are like 8 elevators. Yeah, I believe it's 8 elevators, so it's a lot. But anyway, they are going to do everything they can to make sure that you guys, it's all the traffic goes between the first and the second floor because ballroom and the sponsors are on the first floor and the classrooms are all upstairs. So the hotel has promised to make it seamless that we don't have the ever popular escalator. How to produce your own vocals with Adriana Gonzalez and Ron Harris, both heavy duty studio vocal veterans. Demystifying the Cue with Dean Kripane, which, by the way, one of the books that we are going to have available for you to win today. We're giving away one book, but the winner gets to choose between Robin Frederick's classic, which still is a bestseller, Demystifying the Cue from the aforementioned Mr. Wonderful Dean Kripane. And then this book, which is also a must-have. If you're doing music for TV, got to have that book. So there you go. And let's see. I'm just cherry-picking some that I might not have told you about. You know who's coming back this year? A gentleman named Tiamo Di Vittori. He's got a company called Musicpreneur Academy. And some people came up to me and go, is this thing real? When he first sponsored a rally, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, he performs at corporate gigs. A lot of times just him and his acoustic guitar, maybe, some form of electronic accompaniment. I don't know. But he has earned a very nice living for a very long time. It's a way to make money that nobody ever thinks about. And he teaches a course that I remember like 2 or 3 people coming up to me several years ago that came up to him at his booth at the Road Rally and said, wow, this ain't cheap. It's not a $200 course. Do you think it's worth it? And I said, honestly, I don't know. It's his first year as a sponsor. Anyway, both of those people got back to me like a year or more later and said, took the course, loved it. He's a great teacher. I've followed exactly what he told me to do, and I am booking gigs. Good gigs, not your little, pass the hat at the coffee house gigs, but I think his thing is called Make $10,000 per gig with keynote concerts, custom songs. So yeah, like if there's, here's a non-exciting example, but they write checks. One of the people told me that they were the musical act at a screen door and aluminum siding convention in New Jersey or something. Sounds pretty boring, right? But those people, they wanted somebody up there with personality that could play some songs, tell a couple jokes, whatever. And the member who took his course, Tiamo's course, said, okay, I didn't get 10 grand for the gig, but I got multiple thousands of dollars for doing what I love to do. It took practically no rehearsal on my part, and I was there for an hour. So I don't know. And he's doing that during the lunch break on Saturday from 12:30 to 1:30. So you might want to like wolf down. I mean, you'll still have another hour to eat before anything happens in the ballroom, but I would check that one out. Saturday at 12:30 to 1:30. Make $10,000 per gig. For those of you who perform, why not? Doesn't cost you anything to go and find out. Vocals for film and TV with Juliet Lyons. Very successful female, not too many male members named Juliet, although these days you don't know. Juliet is an in-demand vocalist, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, highly skilled at what she does. And so she's going to teach a course I believe she taught last year, which was vocals for film and TV, which are different than performing, at a convention for screen door and aluminum siding people. Here's a sponsored thing called Get Your Music Catalog Organized with TrackStage. Marketing thing with Bobby Borg, who's great at that stuff. Caroz is doing one called What to Do After Taxi Forward Your Music with Greg Caroza. Here's an interesting title. I really like this. Everybody wants a manager, but how do you make a manager want you? That's the deal. So Chris Long, who actually used to be an A&R person, then was a manager, ran a taxi listing, found a band that I can't remember the original name, but maybe it was Crossfade. Anyway, got them signed, all because of a taxi listing, got them signed, and they ended up having a #1 hard rock album, and the record went platinum. So he knows a thing or two. Anyway, I could go very much into the weeds with that, but I have a mission today, which is to tell you about other reasons that you should come. The education from expert panels and workshops. Well, I think I pretty much covered that. Again, you guys who've been there, feel free if you want to chat it up in the chat room to tell other people who haven't been to a road rally or people who are thinking, maybe I'll go next year. Why would you put off success for another year when all you have to do is show up, right? I don't get that. I do not understand when people go, maybe I'll go next year. I think the same people that said that last year were the same people that said it in 2015, 16, 17. By the way, how many years have we been doing TAXITV? I'm surprised by this. I went looking for something in my TAXITV folder. We have been doing, as of February of 2025, it will be 15 years of doing this show live. I invented podcasting. Maybe, what was his name, our former vice? Al Gore may have invented the internet, but I'm pretty sure I invented podcasting. 15 years. Some of today's biggest influencers that do podcasts were like in diapers when I started. I'm really, really old. Okay, opportunities. Number 3, opportunities for song and track reviews. I think we've got, hold on, pull out. I think we have 3 panels in the Grand Ballroom, and then there's also the Michael Lloyd thing and another thing. If you are pitching music, if you'd like to get signed by a record label, or you'd like a Music Row publisher to pick up your country song and get it cut by a big artist, we don't do that specific kind of listening in the Grand Ballroom. We used to, but people go, I want to pitch this for film, TV, get it cut by an artist, and get a record deal. So it was really hard for the panelists to focus and give them the right feedback when somebody says that they're, whatever you can make me money with is what I'm doing. So we broke it out. We do a separate panel, but we have in the Grand Ballroom, as I mentioned before, we've got film and TV song panel. We've got film and TV instrumental pitch panel. Let me look. I don't want to misquote myself. Then we've got the song listening and feedback session, which happens in the theater on the 2nd floor. And that's with Craig Pilo, Chris Long, James Koshin, Ty Knox, Steve Block, and Bobby Reimer, who are all incredibly good at their various genres, which are jazz. Craig Pilo is like a bona fide jazz expert. He's also our head screener. Chris Long, the aforementioned guy who got Crossfade signed and helped them sell 1 million records and get a #1. I've got a platinum record hanging on our wall down the hall here. James Koshin, who's great at top 40 pop, Christian, gospel, and country. Ty Knox, hip hop, top 40 pop, and R&B. Steve Block, Music Row publisher. Bobby Reimer, country, pop, and Christian. Bobby was a Music Row publisher for many years, still is a publisher. He moved to Las Vegas, but is still very, very active. Anyway, great panel there. If you want to get stuff not for film and TV, but you want to pitch to artists on labels or try and get yourself a label deal, that's the panel where you want to get your stuff. And then, of course, we've got the happy ending pitch panel at the end, which is all of the above. Great panelists on that. Michael Lloyd, Rob Shirelli, Ron Harris, Stephanie Reed, and Pedro Costa on that one. That's always a really fun panel. And right before that in the theater, we've got Michael Lloyd, the aforementioned guy that's got 100 gold and platinum records to his credit. And Michael Lloyd always does the thing where he does judging music, a one-man panel in the 200-seat theater, and people love that as well. He gives great feedback. So there you go on that. Obviously, I already talked about there's just opportunities everywhere. I mean, if you think you could sit in a chair somewhere and people are going to come up to you and say, can I sign your music and put it in a TV show? No, you got to get out there. You don't need to be like Joe outgoing, and have a high personality quotient. But you do have to go to the Mentor Luncheon and meet people. You do have to say hi to the person standing next to you in the registration line, or when you go to lunch at the Thai restaurant next door to the hotel, or you go to the restaurant, which, by the way, what's it called? The Daily Grill has been remodeled, and the whole restaurant is open again this year, so it won't be as hard as it was last year getting a table in there. You won't be able to take the escalator from the second floor to the first floor to go in there. You'll have to take an elevator or stairs. But it is fully opened, and I had lunch with the general manager of the hotel the other day. By the way, the new GM at the hotel, awesome. Nellie, who's our event coordinator at the hotel, has always been great. She knows the road rally like we know the road rally. But there have been times they've had a general manager that just wasn't all that cooperative. This gentleman grew up 8.2 miles from where I grew up in Illinois. So we're both farm boys. We get each other. And we spent a couple hours together on Friday. And he said, look, whatever you need, I will be here. If you need me standing down here pointing, saying, take that service elevator, take that service elevator, he said, I will do it. I can tell just because of the kind of person he is that he means it and he will do it. So really, really excited that he's on board. And even though we won't have the escalator, we got a great new general manager at the hotel. But there's just all these opportunities to meet people at the bar. Dear God, last year, do you know, I actually had, I think, 3 emails or phone calls from friends of mine, big, important people in the industry that I'll tell you, one of them was Mason Cooper, music supervisor. He was the first one to say it, actually. He said, Laskow, what's the deal? Nobody was hanging out in the bar last year. And then we realized it's probably our fault. We added a bunch of nighttime classes and the drive-by things upstairs. We sucked so many people out of that bar, and yet that bar is like, it's probably the highest probability place for unsigned, independent, average Joe or Josephine musicians to really meet people from the industry and get to know them and get their music heard and meet collaborators and everything. The bar is where it's at. It's like if you wanted sex, drugs, and disco, you go to Studio 54, right? Back in the day. I don't know how many of you were old enough to remember Studio 54. But the bar at the West End during the road rally is the Studio 54 of industry relationships. No sex, no drugs, maybe some rock and roll, not disco. Inspiration and motivation. That's number 5 on the list. Every freaking year, and I shouldn't say like freaking year, no, every year we get emails. You'll see it on the forum. You'll see people posting on the forum. You'll see people, I see people sending me emails while they're literally like sitting on the tarmac in their airplane getting ready to fly home. And they're sending emails to the general mailbox at taxis saying, I'm so depressed to be going home. Of course, we don't tell their spouse or their kids that. But people love the road rally. They just love that every single person there gets them because you're all doing the same thing. And it's a little better than going to like the, window screen and aluminum siding convention. I mean, these are musicians. So people just get so motivated. It's like, wow, I met all these awesome people that 5 years ago had nothing going on, and now they're on their way up. 10 years ago, they had nothing going on, and now they were able to walk away from their day job and earn their full income because they're making more money doing music than they were at their regular job. So you meet these people, how could you not be inspired, right? I get inspired by meeting the members. Of course, people always send emails. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you, I had 52 placements last year. What was the best one? Some guy walked up to me, 4, 5, 6 years ago, and I think it was probably 2019, like right before COVID. The guy, everything now is pre and post COVID. Guy walks up to me and says, I just want to shake the hand of the man who helped me land a $50,000 placement. Didn't bother to tell us when it actually happened. So for those of you watching today, if you've had placements recently, we gather them up and put them in the newsletter. And I would really appreciate it if you'd let us know. This makes our life a little easier so we don't have to scrounge around. Anybody get a placement? Inspiration, motivation. If you find it easy to procrastinate and come up with excuses and go through the mental exercise of I just don't feel the muse today, so I'm not doing anything. Go to the road rally, because people come out of the road rally going, I've never been so motivated to make music. Not only because they see the financial and emotional rewards that their fellow members are getting when they're successful, but the satisfaction you get from knowing that millions of people are actually hearing music that you created. Come on, let's face it. Can we be really honest about this? I don't know that I've ever actually said this on a TAXITV before. Musicians think they are awesome. They think their music is awesome. Probably a better way to say it. Because there's never been anybody to tell them that it wasn't. I mean, they've got friends and family. Maybe they play the occasional gig at, the Elks Club downtown in Peoria or something. But they've never had anybody really from the real music industry tell them that they're ready for prime time or they're not before. And I think that a lot of people either don't join Taxi or don't come to the road rally because they feel like they're not ready. And they're scared to be outed to themselves as, I've been telling everybody I'm really good because nobody can judge me. I know I've said this on Taxi TV before. If you don't finish a song, nobody can judge it. And that alone is enough motivation to never finish anything because nobody can ever judge you. And the only thing they know about you and your incredibly wonderful music is what you tell them. So it does take courage to come to the road rally. But you know what? You're going to come home with the motivation where you're finally going to finish that stuff. Are you going to fail every now and then? Maybe you'll fail the first 10 times you do it. Maybe the first 20 or 50. But you will come home motivated enough to face that challenge. Get serious about it because you're going to meet other people at the road rally that are just like you. Maybe they don't have red hair and freckles, but they're just like you in the musical sense. And they've done it. And you meet them and go, that lady's not Superwoman. That guy's not Elon Musk. They're regular people like you, and they've done it. So you come home inspired and motivated because now you've seen real evidence. Don't ever take my word for it. I will always be honest with you. But look, I own the company. People have an automatic, a certain level of cynicism whenever the guy who owns the company is telling you how great we are at helping you become successful. Listen to your fellow members. Exposure to current industry trends. Hello, my name is Michael, and if I made music, it would sound like it came from the mid-'70s because that's when I fell in love with music and got my first job in a studio. That's where I'm stuck. I force-feed myself current music because I have to as the owner of Taxi. A lot of our members are making really good James Taylor-esque singer-songwriter music, but the industry needs very little of that. So sounding current is so important to your success. But if you don't take the time to search out current music and see what current trends are in melody, in rhythm, in engineering styles, in production techniques, if you don't seek that out and do it passionately, you're going to be stuck in James Taylor land for the rest of your life, frustrated and pissed off at Taxi screeners because they don't get you, and you're not going to make any money. But then you go to the road rally and you hear a lot of music from your fellow members who are your same age, you grew up loving the same music, and you go home going, if they can do it, I can do it. Another great reason to come to the road rally. The mentoring sessions. One-to-one mentoring. Every other music convention that I'm aware of, there may be something out there that I'm not, but they all charge like $35 to sit down for 15 minutes with a mentor. Taxi doesn't charge. All you have to do is show up and sign up. And the mentors we've got this year are the best, most highly curated group of mentors we've ever had. Same thing for the classes. I cut out probably 30-40% of the classes that I'm like, I've been doing this guy. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I let him come back year after year after year, do the class. But 12 people would go to the class. Other classes would have 50. So we cut out the low-performing classes. Low performance, meaning low attendance, is a pretty good indicator that not that many people were that into it. So now, because we've narrowed the list, people will have better stuff to go to. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the mentoring, the one-to-one mentor sessions, again, we've had so many people say the mentor heard my stuff and said, could you do a full album of that? Boom, problem solved, right? I'm telling you, the rally. Number 10. See, I went past 7. I've been known to do that before. Let's see. Sense of community and belonging. I kind of covered that, but you know what? It's true. I've actually had people come up and hug me at 10:30 Sunday evening in the lobby of the West End Hotel and start getting all sniffly and teary-eyed, which is sweet. They're bummed out that they're going back to their families and their real life, as they call it, because they've had such an incredible time being amongst their own people. The Road Rally crowd, for whatever reason, just the nicest, most giving, supportive, emotionally generous group of musicians I've ever seen under one roof anywhere. So there you go. Opportunities for co-writing and collaborations. I've touched on that. Diverse genres and styles. Kind of touched on that. Goal setting and planning. There are some classes that will teach you how to do that. We're certainly going to talk about that on the panel that I'm doing with, I'll never find it now, but I'm doing a panel called Getting Stuff Done, which I always say is really ironic that I should lead such a panel, considering I'm a guy who bought the book Getting Things Done like 10 years ago and didn't finish the book. But I recognize, because of my own lack of getting things done sometimes when I want to, and I will procrastinate with the best of them. I met Robina Ritchie Barker and went, this woman is a force of nature, has her act together. Will Derryberry is on that. He's another one, just a successful member, because he understands that the more music you make, the more chances you have. The more chances you have, the more frequently you get pitched. The more frequently your stuff gets pitched, the more placements you're going to get, and the more your bank account will grow. So there is a progression of the way that stuff happens. So prizes. Oh, here's something I don't think I've told you about. I'm getting distracted by the chat room. Okay, so unless this falls apart in the 11th hour, and it's not on the website, it's not in the booklet, we will announce it by separate email. But we have somebody putting together something that was done at another conference probably 7 or 8 years ago, called the Pop-Up Studio. And there are several manufacturers that are donating gear. PRS Guitars is one of them. I think Casio Keyboards is another one. We've got a guy who is, sorry, I've got crud in my throat. We've got a guy who will have his Mac laptop loaded with Pro Tools in the room. We will have a microphone. We will have a MIDI keyboard. We'll have everything you need. And you can sign up. We're going to send out an invitation. Don't call the staff or email yet, because we haven't announced this formally. I'm still waiting for a couple pieces of the puzzle to come together, but I'd say it's about a 95% chance it's going to happen. You'll sign up in advance before you get to the road rally. You'll have 45 minutes to go in there and record whatever you can record in 45 minutes and mix it. And then we're going to have a panel of judges in a back room somewhere pick a winner or maybe three finalists. This is the part that's a little foggy to me right now because somebody else is kind of driving the boat on this thing. I think it's going to be three finalists. And during the last panel, the happy ending panel on Sunday late afternoon, the audience will vote on those three. We'll pick a winner. Maybe the judges will pick one. I don't know exactly how it's going. Whoever wins gets a PRS guitar, a $2,000 Casio keyboard, and all kinds of other stuff in this prize package. It's like a really good prize package. It's not complete yet, but what I've seen so far is really, really cool. And frankly, I think you could win it. They're not looking for who can produce the most incredible production in 45 minutes. I think it's more about the judges going, now that's incredible. So I think somebody with a great voice and a great song and an acoustic guitar could nail it. I don't know. I'm really pushing the person who's behind this little adventure to get me completely filled in, like we're meeting tomorrow, because if we don't, I'm going to pull the plug on it because we're right up against the rally. It starts for me a week from Wednesday. I go down to the hotel Wednesday evening, and I'm sure that some of our people will be down there doing bag stuffing, things like that. The Taxicaster guitar. That's right. I forgot. Where is? Oh, it's over there. Yeah, I bought a Taxi yellow Stratocaster that is going to be in the room. Oh, that's another reason to go to the Road Rally. The jam sessions that are hosted by Richard Crawdaddy Dance have turned into a thing. We have so many great players. People go in there and just, hey, do you know this song? Yeah, I do. And they put together a jam. Always amazing. The open mic, Rick Hayes, who's the guy that does the audio and MCs it now. A really, really amazingly good guy. I love Rick. He said to me last year or the year before, he said, have you noticed the quality of material getting played in the open mic has gotten way better over the years? And I said, frankly, no. Usually at night, I'm so tired from talking for 8 hours on stage. I go up to my room. I do a lap usually around 8 o'clock, go up to my room and chill out, watch a movie on HBO or something, and then come back down around 10 o'clock, 10:30 and do another lap. So I generally don't sit in either the jam room or the open mic for more than 15, 20 minutes at a shot. But from what I've seen, the jam room, I was there 2 years ago for a jam that was going on probably around 11 p.m. Just amazing. Anyway, chance to win prizes. Let me, that was the last thing on the list, and I was just talking about that a little bit. And I want to thank our sponsors this year. We've had, last year sucked for sponsors. And the ones that did come through for us last year, most of them weren't into traveling yet. COVID really killed the will of companies to put 3 people on an airplane, send them cross country, pay for 3 hotel rooms for 4 nights each, ship a bunch of gear out, set up a booth, blah, 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 blah. They learned when the NAMM show was either shut down or reduced to a pittance of what it used to be. They're like, why do we need to do that anymore? But this year, we've got, and I hope I don't leave anybody out, Bandzoogle, Disc Makers, Cal State University Northridge, Composer Catalog, Final Mix, Hear Technologies, Studio Pros, Music Connection, Muser, Musicpreneur Academy, Paul Reed Smith Guitars, Music Pro Insurance, Reverb Nation. Missing a page. Nope, didn't print that page. Oh, there it is. Hang on. By the way, these things are the best chip clips ever. Chip clips in stores are like I don't know, $5, $6 for a plastic clip. These things are about 10 cents, and they are much tighter. Let's see, Recording Magazine, Sink or Swim Music, the Music Licensing Collective. Did I get that right? MLC? I always screw that up. It's not Music Licensing Collective, is it? Mechanical Licensing Collective. The AFM and SAG-AFTRA Intellectual Property Rights Distribution Fund. You may have other money sitting there. There are all these different ways to make money now that people just don't really know about or don't understand and don't know even like where to go to sign up. Sign up for all of them. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you are owed money because you sang a vocal on something 4 years ago that ended up in a commercial and got played 10,000 times, you could have money sitting somewhere. Track Stage by Robotworks. Warm Audio is back. Sync Music Tag. That's it. That's the list. Anyway. All right, we've got a half an hour. Want to do, let's see, do I have anything? I'm not going to give the book away yet, just yet. I want to build the suspense. All right, questions from you guys. There was a situation last year where someone complained that some of us used a backing track at the open mic. I'm so glad you're bringing this up, Bruce. I don't think the issue was the backing track. Is it okay for us to use a backing track or sing? One must also play an instrument. We are having a meeting on, today's Monday, Wednesday. We do what's called the Rally Bible Meeting. We create a document that's like 40 pages long where everybody on the staff knows where they need to be and what they need to be doing. That's why the Road Rally is by far the best organized music conference you've ever been to, at least one of any scale or size. Casey, get back in the room. I didn't give you permission to leave. So I'm going to bring this up at the meeting because I remember this was an issue. I know that some people just like handed the engineer, here's my 90-second instrumental cue. Can you play it? That's not the spirit of an open mic. I think don't hold me to this because the staff may inform me of something that's more real tomorrow or Wednesday at that meeting. But I think if you have a backing track, you need to get up there and perform. So, yeah, in years past, we've had people that have a pop song. That obviously, you're not going to bring, like a 6-piece pop band with background vocalists on stage. So could you have a backing track and get up there and sing to it? I think that that's kosher to do. Having them just play your instrumental track while you sit out in the audience with everybody else, that's not really the spirit of an open mic. That's just me being really desirous of having everybody else listen to my music. It's just not fair to people who are willing to get up and perform. It's about performance. Keith LeBrant says he'll be there singing over a 50 hertz sine wave. Do you know that that's how they used to synchronize film, like movie film, to audio? Was using a 60 hertz sine wave, and the peaks and the valleys you'd line them up. When I first started doing audio post mixing, after I decided to retire from the record side of the industry because I could make more money and work like a normal 8 or 9 hour day doing audio post, the place I got my first job in New York City was called National Video Center. It's where they actually shot the movie Tootsie, which was being shot as I just got my job there. But they had the old-fashioned film mixing rooms where they called them tractors, but really they're 35 mag machines, 35 millimeter mag machines that actually use 35 millimeter film with an audio track striped onto it. and you would load up like 10 or 20 of these machines that were each about 6 or 7 feet tall, about 2.5 feet wide, and each of them would get one, like, here's actor A's voice for the dialogue is on machine 1, actor 2 is on machine 2, actor 3 is on machine 3, sound effect of a door slamming, machine 4, ambient street noise, machine 5, music track, machine 6. And you would sit there at the mixing console talking to a person in the machine room, and you would say, retard machine 4, 3 frames. And they would go click, click, click. Okay, try it now. That's the way stuff was synced up when I very first started mixing audio post. Very quickly, it became having an open track on the 24 track, and you would put a SMPTE tone on there and use that to lock to the SMPTE reader inside of a videotape machine. That's how it was done. Now, of course, it's all done in your computer, in your laptop. Did I see any other questions go by? But can they sing to a track? All right. That will go into tomorrow's meeting, and I will find out. Wow. Wish I had a Post-it note with sticky stuff on it. How do the jam sessions work? I think you walk in and you sign up. There's like a clipboard. You guys could tell me better, honestly, because I've never signed up for one. I think you walk in and you put down, my name is Bruce and I play rhythm guitar. Or my name is Stephanie and I play keyboards. They might even ask you to put down if you do rock or blues or multi-genre or whatever. And then Richard Dance, who's just a hoot and an amazing lead guitar player. Well, amazing all kind of guitar player. That guy, I swear, he is like the greasiest. I'm going to get completely racist with this. He sounds like an old black blues master, and he's just not old, not black. Well, maybe he's old. Definitely not black. Anyway, he could go on stage with any legit blues band. Whenever I hear him, I want to see him jam with John Mayer, who's also a great guitar player. But Richard Dance is just amazing. So he's a ton of fun. And he hosts it, and he just says, all right, let's do rock. Who out there is a great rock drummer? I am. But, that's what they do. They just call people up, put together a band in the moment, pick a song or maybe just a 1-4-5 progression and do their thing. But with Richard in the room, it will never, ever be dull. That I can promise you. Amazing guitar player. Seriously, if I went back to making records for a living, and I was producing a band that needed somebody who is a legitimate, not just a technical master, but he's got this feel thing. I can't really explain. I call it greasy. It's just, he's always just behind it enough that he's in this pocket. I don't know. LeBrant, there's another one. Keith LeBrant, one of the all-time great guitar players, probably a better technical guitar player. I don't know that Richard plays the Joe Satriani stuff that LeBrant does, but LeBrant is mind-blowing. There he is now. Learn something at every TAXITV, still waiting for that book. Yeah, the only people who buy it are in the chat room right now. Maybe encourage folks to come up as a group. Talk to Richard Dance when you walk in the room. Any other questions? Before SMPTE, yes, before SMPTE. Doug Ricketts asked, someone asked if the luncheons were different, like lyrical songs for Friday and otherwise for Saturday. No, you never know. We do have a wide range of mentors that will circulate throughout the room. And we don't feed them the same lunch that you guys get. They get Subway before the thing starts because there was no way for us to move them from table to table with their whole place setting. So we feed them in advance. And then they move every 15 minutes. We bang on a cowbell or blow an air horn or something. So, like your first mentor could be a music supervisor. Second mentor could be a music library owner. Third mentor could be a very successful taxi member. Next mentor could be Ronan Chris Murphy, who's an audio engineer, producer, mixer. So it varies, and no, we try to keep it balanced. So if you go on one day and not the other, that you still get a very similarly curated mixture of random people showing up. There is a list posted. Probably we haven't gone back and corrected all the typos that we found. The document that's up on the website now, all the different tabs, are what we give to the book printer, who then makes drafts that we proof. All the stuff that we've proofed has not gone back up on the website, so there might be some typos or stuff up there, but it's like 95 to 98% good. So you can see the list of mentors, and you can see what the mentor specialties are. Somebody told me something the other day that I'd never heard, and this is going to be our 28th rally, my 32nd year of owning Taxi. Somebody said to me that the smart people get to the front of the line before they open the doors for the luncheon, and they go in and they sit down. Where the mentor will have like a little tent card or something. It says mentor seat. So you want to sit to the left or right of the mentor just so that you could hear them better or have maybe a better connection with them. I don't want to see any fights breaking out. I don't want to see any weaponry in the luncheon room. I don't want to see any tear gas, but if you can get in the door and grab a seat next to the mentor, that might be a really good suggestion. But yeah, here's something that happens every year, which is people go to the Friday luncheon and they love it so much and things worked out so well for them, which of course we can't guarantee, but we hear so much positive feedback other than it's loud in there. You will get a little hoarse from trying to talk over everybody. People will go down to the taxi registration desk where you get your badge after the Friday lunch, go, any open seats for Saturday? Most years we don't have open seats, so they're bummed out because they realize it was so productive for them and they had such a good time doing it that they want to come back for a second day. Would you be smart to buy tickets for both days? Look, like I said, I want to say it's like $55 or something this year. It went up by like $5 or something because the price of food. Look, we all go grocery shopping. Do you know vitamin water, which I drink at least one a day, usually have them with dinner every night, sugar-free ones. At our Ralph's is the big grocery store chain out here in Southern California. I used to be able to buy them on a regular sale. Like they were usually discounted down to about $1 a bottle. It's, I'm looking around, I don't have one here. It's a 20-ounce bottle, pretty good value for $1. On sale sometimes you could buy them for 88 cents a piece. I did my regular grocery shopping, I want to say like Thursday night of last week, and it was $2.39 per bottle. Almost 300% the price of what it was on their best sale days. Easily double what they used to cost on the regular discount. I mean, how much more of this can we take? So anyway, all that to say that the lunches are, I want to say $5 more expensive than last year. And I feel bad about that. But look, if you go to the Thai place, you're going to drop $20-30 for, get a little wonton soup, an entree, and a drink. Drinks! Oh my gosh! Where was I? Burger King or something, coming back from a meeting somewhere, and I decided to stop in and get a Whopper Jr. with cheese. Haven't had one in a long time. And I saw the Burger King sign, said, gonna pull the trigger, went in there. A small drink was about $3. I want to say like $2.79 for a little 8-ounce cup of sugar water with brown food coloring. Mind-blowing. Anyway. So like I was going to say, you know what? Splurge a little bit. You're not going there for the food value, although people say the food is good. Some people say it's really good. It's the networking. You're not paying for the road rally. Dear God, how much other conferences were like $400, $500, $600, depending if you bought your ticket, way in advance or the day of, the prices would change. The road rally is free, and it's the best of all of them. So there you go. Am I bringing the Koto to the road rally? No, I am not. That thing has never left my wall. There have been times where we've done like a room remodel at home, and I've actually thought, I'm looking at it as we speak, I've thought about bringing the Koto home and putting it on a wall in the house, but our master bedroom is Asian influenced. Am I allowed to say that anymore? Can I? I remember some girl got in trouble for wearing a dress that was the wrong dress to her prom or something. So I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about my bedroom being Asian influenced, but it does. It's got some Asian furniture looking stuff. Can tell I'm a decorator. All right. Any other questions? Scrolling down to the bottom of the list. I can't say Oriental now. Well, I think we both just did. So did they change the name of the Orient Express? One is curious, isn't one? Oh, man. Bar tip, they usually have a happy hour if you're looking for a discount. That's true. You know what else they have at the hotel? They have an indoor golf range. After the show, Google Full Swing Golf. I used to actually sell these things before I started Taxi. I had a little 6-month period where I was as broke as could be. Actually, it was during the first 6 months of Taxi. I was broke for the first 2 years of Taxi, but used to sell $50,000 golf simulators. So I'm very familiar with them, although they were great back then. They're like mind-blowingly good now. They put in 3 or 4 of them in that room where we used to zigzag the line for registration. That is now like indoor golf. And you can also put up a football field on the screen. And you can play hockey, all kinds of stuff. I think it's like $75 an hour. So if you did like a foursome and split it, not so bad. $3 to $6 happy hour if you get your order in just before 6 o'clock. Then you save even if you're not happy? I don't really understand what the hell you're saying. Not happy about what? What they served you? Bradley Hocken, good point. It's the 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. that's the issue. Andre's never happy. Andre, are you still skinny like last year? Last year I walked right by him like 3 times. Didn't recognize him because he'd lost so much weight. All right. Anybody still looking for roommates? I was on the forum earlier today. I saw Marion is still looking for a roommate. Actually, Marion, if you don't find a roommate, Century Boulevard, about a quarter of a mile away from the hotel, has a homeless community underneath the 405 overpass. Things get really bad. Just saying, bring a sleeping bag. One of those down feather ones because they're really light in your suitcase. I'm joking. You know I'm joking, right? I hope you find a roommate. Oh, good. You're in talks with a couple of ladies. Yeah, I hope it works out. The rooms are still like compared to the price of rooms at another recent event. I think it was the Music Library Conference, the MLC, that was just 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think the rooms at the Road Rally are like $100 a night cheaper. And the hotel is basically all brand new inside. It was pretty nice before, not a Four Seasons, but a couple of steps up from your average Marriott for sure. And now it's, when you walk in and see the lobby this year, guys, you're going to go, whoa, holy crap, holy. We have to work that out, which one to keep. Draw straws. Or you could do like one of those little spinning wheels with the arrow pointer on, like they do for board games. God, what a horrible loss. For the person that doesn't get picked. Play upright bass, you can use your case as a sleeping bag. You mean like a coffin. And you can only fit one leg in the skinny part. So what you're going to do with that other leg, I don't know, but I would not recommend amputation. All right. Well, whoever you end up rooming with, I just want to ask you ladies to behave yourselves. All right. No bong hits, no chug-a-lug contest, none of that stuff. And above all, Marion Laird, I do not want to get any reports about you being on the helipod smoking weed, which is legal here in California, just in case you've ever had the desire. No reports about you on the helipad partying. No wild parties. Chug-a-lugs are okay. Shots. Oh man. I'm not, Bruce, I'm glad you brought that up because I've got a note to bring it up at the end of the show, which I should do the book giveaway right now, by the way. Is there's not going to be a TAXITV a week from today. We're going to be in final checklist mode, and I just don't want to have to worry about putting together a show. So, yeah. The 3 books, again, we're going to give one away. Whoever wins today, you have to live in the continental United States or Canada because shipping the books anywhere else costs way more than the book costs. And for some weird reason, we're not allowed to like gift a digital version of it or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. So the books you can choose from: Shortcuts to Hit Songwriting by the amazing Robin Frederick, who always has like a packed ballroom when she does her thing every year. Don't miss it. Demystifying the Cue, which was Dean Crapane's first book, and it's a masterpiece. And then finally, we have Steve Barden's book that you cannot live without, Writing Production Music for TV. All 3 of these books, I mean, really, you should have all 3. A lot of you do, I think. A lot of the regulars do. So, once again, Writing Production Music for TV, Demystifying the Cue, and Shortcuts to Hit Songwriting, which I've got to say has the most obvious By Me cover on it. We worked really hard on getting the cover art right for that book, even down to the spine of the book. I actually went to like 3 bookstores and took pictures of like all the books, the spines of the books on the shelf. and then had my family members, I would put a printout of it and say, pick the one that jumps out at you first. And that was literally how we influenced the designer who designed the cover. These are our requirements. And then she did a great job designing it. Okay, let me get my face back on here, and let's do a little book giveaway, shall we? Ken Crombie's got them all. Best wishes for the people who don't have them. MMS wants demystifying. It's great. Wow, a lot of you guys have all of them. Ken Crombie says Steve's book is the best in his humble opinion. Effie Season just got receipts for the Eat Greet Lunches. I have Dean's. I'm counting on a win. Have them all. Okay, how are we going to do this? Don't start yet. When I say go, type in RR for Road Rally. Seems to be the theme of the day, doesn't it, kids? And then Liz is going to do this, where she shuts her eyes, runs her finger up and down the chat room, and goes bink. And that person is the winner. And we will send out the book, and you'll have it in your hands. And go. Nancy Kalel, I didn't see you in the house. Look at this. I have been meaning to pick up the phone and call you and thank you so much for remembering my birthday almost 2 months ago. I've held on to the card. Thank you so much. And then today I was moving stuff around on my desk and I saw it and I thought, wow, if Nancy shows up for today's show, I've got to thank her. So thank you. That was very, very kind of you. There wasn't any money in it, but I really appreciate it. I'm kidding. Pirate laugh. I used to have a friend named Steve. I can't remember his last name. He was like VP of A&R, one of the major labels, and we were good friends. He's still around. Anyway, Scottish, and he sounds like he just chain smoked an entire carton of cigarettes and chug-a-lugged a gallon of booze. And his Scottish accent was so thick. I always called him the Scottish pirate. Whenever we put him on a panel, I would literally, after a while, I got used to his accent and I could understand about 80% of what he said. But I would have to turn around and say to the people in the audience, Steve said... I don't remember where he's from. I just remember he's Scottish. Why can't I remember? I must say it's not Steve Memel. God. Thomas Goodlunas, you are the winner. Please tell us in the chat room which of those 3 amazing books you would like to have for your very own. Once again, they are Shortcuts to Hit Songwriting from Robin Frederick, Demystifying the Cue from Dean Krippain, and last but not least, Writing Production Music for TV from Steve Barden, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, with a perverted sense of humor. No, a sardonic sense of humor, not perverted, although he might be a pervert as well. You'll meet him at the Road Rally. He'll be there. Did Robert say which one he wants yet? I mean, Thomas? Writing Production Music for TV. Okay, so you need to send an email to Liz, L-I-Z, that's the traditional spelling, Liz at taxi.com, and she will get your home address, and we will send you out the book. Congratulations. Excellent book. Scott Alexander, can we get a +1 from everyone here who's going to the rally? I think that's a really good idea. Type in a +1 if you're going to the road rally. Martin Gravel, not coming, dude. Wow. Bruce remembers. I hug a lot of people. I do shake hands, but during the COVID, like right after we came back from COVID, I just like, sorry, can't shake your hand because I got sick one year with the flu, like on day number 2 of the rally. Every time I finished a panel, I would literally run up to my room. And the 15 minutes that we used to change the stage over, I would just run up to my room, get under the covers with my teeth chattering for like 10 minutes, and run back downstairs, do a panel, and run back up to the room, chattering teeth. I don't have a choice. Andre's going to hug me. Awesome. Oh, I'm behind the buck. I thought I clicked it. Sorry. There I am. You can tell I'm more of an audio guy, less of a video guy. Anyway, I'm so excited to see so many of you that are coming. And maybe I should wear like a hand condom or something, or rubber glove, I think is what they call it. No. Do you know, I went to a butcher shop about a month ago and got 4 packages of 3 chicken thighs each, because that's the number of thighs. My wife is currently taking a course that's outside the U.S., so she's rarely home this year and overseas a lot. So I tend to throw stuff on the grill for myself a lot because it's easy and it doesn't mess up the kitchen. And so I threw these chicken thighs on the grill, and I bit into the first one. I went, tastes like soap. Gross. About a week later, I thought maybe I had COVID or my taste was messed up or something. Turns out I did have COVID, but after that happened. Anyway, it happened again. And so I went back. I was at the same butcher shop the other day, and I ordered some chicken thighs. I actually took the chicken thighs back and told the lady, I said, look, I've been a customer here for like 15 years. I've never returned anything, but these taste like soap. They're inedible. And she said, oh, I'm so sorry. So I went the other day, I was staying at the counter, and I said to the guy, I saw there were like 5 guys behind the counter. And it's towards the end of the day, and the guy's mopping the floor. He's got on blue rubber gloves, and he said, can I help you? I said, yeah, I'd like chicken thighs. And he took those same rubber gloves that he was probably cleaning countertops with, mopping the floor, and picked up the chicken breasts and put them on the scale. So I ratted him out to the store's owner. I wouldn't want my employees using soapy, chemically rubber gloves to pick up chicken breasts for you guys, right? Anyway, so that's my story. The next time I see you guys will be at the Road Rally. At the moment, I am planning on doing a TAXITV on Monday, the 11th of November, okay? So everybody have a safe flight, safe travels. Look so forward to seeing you at the rally. If you haven't booked, if you don't have a hotel room yet, we hit the end of our block, which meant the rooms were all going to go up like $100 a day. When I met the other day with the general manager and our coordinator, I asked them if they could add some other rooms to the block, and they said yes for a few days. So if you haven't gotten a room yet and you want to get a room, you've still got a quick opportunity to jump in there and get them for, I think they're $179, which is a steal. So that's it. See you all at the Road Rally very soon. Thanks for joining me today. And remember, we now have 24,015 subscribers to this incredible channel, TAXITV Live. Bye-bye, you guys. The great Keith LeBrand